What do you think of that guy? That guy wouldn't know greatness if it hit him in the ass. He wouldn't know the greatness of America. He wouldn't know the America that made the son of immigrants what he is today. He wouldn't know the greatness of America that made Gloria Parra with the CWA what she is today. He wouldn't know the greatness of America that made Luis Aguilar with the Pipe Fitters Union what he is today. This man wouldn't know the first thing about the greatness of America. As the Dean of the Bexar County delegation, I want to welcome you all to San Antonio. Bienvenidos a San Antonio, la cuna de la independencia de Texas, the home of the Alamo, the birthplace of our independence, where everyone in this nation will never forget those famous words, remember the Alamo. And the day that old boy decided to come here today, on our day, he will not forget those words, remember the Alamo. It's that fighting spirit that makes this city great, makes our state and our nation what they are today. You see, our nation has never stopped being great. Since its birth, it ceased succumbing to tyrants. Our nation, when things were wrong, it's corrected itself. When this great nation realized what it was doing in those horrible times of slavery, when it realized it was no better than the English tyrant it replaced, it nearly tore itself apart to right that horrible wrong. You see, America never stopped being great. Whether it was women's suffrage or civil rights, we figured it out. We said, this is wrong. And our forefathers and our ancestors, they said, this is wrong and we must fix it, and they did. Time after time, in legislation, through commitment to justice, our system and our nation has righted itself. Our system has shown its greatness, and it has shown the promise of the American dream. This great nation has never ceased to be great. And America's greatness would not be defined by that fool. We will not be defined by a tyrant, a charlatan, and a demagogue. You notice I've not said his name, and I will not say this man's name. I will not say this man's name, because that's what he wants. We will not say his name. Now this snake oil salesman, he's running for president, you see. He's telling us that we need to make America great again. That he's going to make America great again. Now we know the truth. We know that there have been moments in our history that this nation perhaps has not lived up to its promise. But if you look back at those times and you see those that were in power, that made the policies and the legislation that made our country maybe not so good, that led us down that wrong path, we know who those people were. And it was this party, this Democratic Party, this progressive party that made America continually fight for its freedom and make itself great. So thanks to you, you've given me the great honor to represent you in Austin. We don't have to look so far to look beyond our own state, where Republicans have destroyed our education system. They have shorted us money. They have destroyed our education system with a parallel system of education in these charter schools, and now they want to give us charter vouchers. Hell no. Hell no. We don't have to look too far to see a governor. This guy says he loves Latinos. My message to him, don't love us so much, dude. Don't love us so much. Because we know the truth, don't we? We all see how he's affected us all by his refusal to accept Medicaid expansion. We don't have to look too far to see a Republican Party that has spent $800 million of our money on a false, fictitious border security problem that is no different than it was today than it was 5 years ago. You see, the greatness of our country has always come from people, it's always come from leaders that have seen what is wrong and said, we must change this. It's come from great men like Lyndon Johnson, John F. Kennedy. The greatness of our country came from Franklin Roosevelt, didn't it? And yes, you got to give credit where credit is due, and it even came from a Republican named Abraham Lincoln. But those are great men, not this fool. We understand that America's greatness is its power to change and reinvent and always progress into the future and learn from its past, not look nostalgically to a past that never was, not look into a vision of white America that's only good for a few rich folk. We know that America's greatness comes from an America that is black, brown, yellow, red, white, and blue. America is indeed a rainbow coalition of colors and religions and creeds coming together to work for progress, to work for change. Now, we have a long way to go. We still need to continue the greatness of our nation. We still need to continue to fulfill its promise. We will continue America's greatness through comprehensive immigration reform, won't we? We will continue its grandeur by furthering the cause for full-time universal pre-K, right? Let me hear you. We're going to continue to fulfill the promise by taking care of our elderly and our infirm. And we will continue the American dream and the promise to our great people by finally demanding equal pay for equal work for women. You see, in my house, we're all about girl power. I'll tell you, my little girl, it's her birthday today, Isabella. Happy birthday, baby. I hope we don't have to wait that long. But she says she's going to be the first Latina president. The promise of America's greatness will be proven again by electing the first woman and most qualified person of our party and of our great nation to be our leader. We will continue America's greatness by electing Hillary Clinton to be the next president of the United States of America. That's right. Now, I want to take a moment before I get off this stage to introduce a dear, dear friend of mine. He has been a fighter for us in Washington. He told this fool what to do with his wall. You know who I'm talking about. I want you to know that I've known this man for many, many years. I know him to be a fighter for our cause, a fighter for Democrats, and a fighter for our people. Please help me in welcoming in my good and dear friend, Congressman Filemon Vela.